They were respecting the moves he was making, not and the
behind
Totally
the motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like what's dope is like Master P's like business that people recognize it now.
Yeah.
That like he had the game back then.
Yeah.
Of what motherfuckers are doing now.
That's right.
Independent shit. He
Yeah.
did it. He did it.
And he took his money right away. Gas stations, 7-Elevens.
Yeah.
If I put a pillow behind me, I guess.
I mean,
Off the rip.
no, keep the mic there. Stop putting the mic back.
Yeah, but it's super uncomfortable for me to do the whole interview like this.
No, he's not on that middle one very often
Right
anyway.
there,
So.
you're good. Like, that's live.
We're already live.
That's right.
We're not recording it. All right, ready?
Oh, yeah.
All right, 3,
Now we're
2.
recording.
What's that knock?
Somebody hanging a picture because I live in an apartment complex.
That was the beginning of Tread Water by De La Soul.
Tread water. That's the one about the
Yeah,
squirrels.
that's what I said.
Door, but not like right next door. Not like knock on your door and ask for sugar next door.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Quick
it's
little
still-
Vermont is
Little
nowhere
ride.
near next door to where we are. Like,
Oh, really?
Nowhere near it. Like,
No.
You got to go all the way through New Hampshire and Vermont.
Yeah, so like when
Well,
you,
not really. When you get to Western Mass, it's
but
right
you have to
there.
go to Western Mass though. So it's like
I thought we were touching Vermont. No.
we are, but not where we are. Like
Right.
the
Way
other
west.
like the other part of
West.
Massachusetts.
Irving.
Yeah, you don't even like we know what that is.
Fitchburg.
Irving? I
So
know
when-
there's an Irving,
when you want to go
California.
away like for a quick little like road trip out of like Boston, 2 hours, 2.5 hours, you can't go to Vermont because like you can only get to that little corner by Franconi.
Forgot to
You
ask
like
for
went
directions.
over the mountain or something.
Yeah, you went.
Yeah, and through the woods.
Sheesh.
Yeah, it's bad.
You went.
But Vermont represented. That was a good show.
Yeah, no, it was super cool.
Yeah, that
I
was
like,
fun.
I'm at a ski resort. Like,
Yeah,
this is
exactly,
wild.
exactly.
Like people are dressed up like they're going because they were just finishing a day of
Yeah,
skiing and snowboarding.
But it was a good show, man. Everyone,
Are you
everyone
guys
rocked out.
from Vermont?
No.
No, it's very misrepresentation
Okay,
of
so,
where we're
yeah.
coming
No.
from.
All right,
So,
so where are you guys from?
they moved to New Orleans.
Yeah,
moved
your
to,
father's a
like
blues
saying-
and jazz bassist.
Yeah.
right.
Yep. Yeah, and he's played with some pretty heavy cats. He's
Like who? Like who is he?
Cecil Taylor, who
Okay.
played with all of them. Miles, John Coltrane, he played with all of them.
Okay.
And it's improvised music. You know what I mean? Like it's their next level jazz. It's not even. They don't even call it jazz really. The people that play it. You know, it's like our way to describe it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's like Sun Ra. You ever heard of Sun Ra?
I have.
Yeah, like that kind of music. You know?
Okay.
It's
But
interesting
improvised.
to like this hip hop, the generation of hip hop. I mean, you guys are like 45, so one generation ahead of me. It's just interesting.
Not a
that,
race.
Like you do what your dad does. You know what I'm saying? Like if your dad does construction, you know build houses. Your dad fucking delivers milk. You become a milkman. Whatever the fuck it may be. So it's interesting that like this kids and musicians in the 80s. They started like you're not the first person in here that has like a dad that traveled and
Right.
like, you know toured and all. Like there's actually been quite a few.
Yeah.
It's been like it's almost like a going standard of like any older person that's come through that produces records.
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, my dad was in this band, and he sang, or my mother was
Yeah,
a singer
yeah.
or a dancer. And
Yeah.
So it's just interesting, like our generation, your generation it's the first generation of like changing that musical style.
Right.
Like you're not making the blues, you're not making jazz, you're not making like
My
you know,
pops wasn't even really with all that. When he would hear loops and stuff, he'd be like, "Yeah,
Well, that's
yeah,
not-
nah."
Like, that's what I mean. Like
Yeah.
that's not even music.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's so like the way
Yeah.
that almost for a while it'd be like the new hip hop shit is like some of this ain't even like fucking music, whatever the fuck it is. They were doing that to you guys as like the first, but you guys are the first generation of that.
yeah.
Which is just interesting because like,
but that would get him open because then when he started piecing it together, like, wait, so that's Cool in the Gang on top of James Brown on top of this jazz record,
On
That
top
started-
of these rock and roll drums.
right? On top of some break beat that you got off a rock record. My pop started putting together because he would see me making the beats.
and he understood.
He started seeing that, like, wow, you are creating something. Like, yeah, you're creating some of other people's grooves, but that's an art in itself.
When do you like first time of it hearing hip hop, experiencing hip hop?
My first time hearing it was probably, I had heard Rapper's Delight, but I didn't know what it was. And I said to my man, yo, my man, this dude, he had a tape of his Irish stepfather drunkenly rapping over Rapper's Delight.
I knew rap started with the Irish white people.
No.
I knew it.
No. So this is important too, because like how fucking rare and how hard it was to get hip hop back in the fucking day. Like you would take that and you would she probably jam the fuck over that record.
Bro, we were listening to it and I kept being like, no, what is this though? And he kept being like, man, it was my drunk stepdad. I'm like, no, not him. What is that behind him? And we're young enough and old enough to know, like, it's not disco. Like, we're saying to each other, it's not disco. It's not rock. Like, then I don't know, however long in kid years or kid months or kid time, he came back to me and was like, yo, I know what it's called. And I was like, what is it? He was like, it's called rap. And
That's
I'm like,
crazy.
and I go, rap?
Wait, were they using the word rap before hip hop or hip hop before rap?
It's kind of intertwined once there's an industry of rap.
Okay. Yeah.
Once it becomes an industry, Sugar Hill Gang, there's rap.
Depends on where you heard it too. Like if you heard it,
Yep. So he goes, it's called rap. And I'm like, rap? And he goes, and there's this dance that you do to it, go like this. He starts electric boogaloo or whatever, the little footwork. My man Sean Driscoll, remember Sean Driscoll?
Yeah.
So I go, there's a dance? He's like, and it's called hip hop, like the rapping and the.
He must have an older brother or something.
So check it out. Pops, this was in Nonantum, over by Newton in Watertown, right in between Watertown and Newton, Nonantum. His pops was actually a black dude from Mattapan that drove cab. So he was in on that scene early, because that was the thing. When Rapper's Delight comes out and the message, like I'm hearing the message in New York. I don't know what I'm hearing though.
The message still stands up.
Amazing.
Shelly Mel's
Dope song.
verses and that shit
Amazing.
still stand. Like that's better than like shit that's coming out. Like that's fucking amazing.
That and Beat Street Breakdown are some of the top
Crazy, like-
ever made like raps. Like
Amazing.
crazy. So then, this is funny, right? So then I'm hearing that from him, and then I don't know in kid time, I don't know what time frame this is, but my mom goes, "Yo, she's a poet and an artist and all that." She goes, "We're gonna watch this documentary." What documentary? She's like, "It's on PBS." So I'm like, "Yeah, okay." So you're really gonna like it, and it's called Style Wars. Star Wars, like, come on, like, nah, no. I love Star Wars. I'm thinking somebody's trying to copy it, and that's gonna be like the wackest thing ever. So it comes on. Star Wars comes on. I'm sure we've all seen it. Coming out the yard, it's got the little orchestra music playing. Dark, you don't know what the fuck you're looking at. As soon as it starts going by the light and you're seeing the graffitis, right? You're like, what the fuck is this shit? I mean, I'm a kid, so I really ain't like, what the fuck is this shit? When it drops, like that's maybe half of the trains pulling out, drops. Somebody let me know. What if you feel it in the place and you're running in the place and you went out? I'm like, what the? You know what I mean? Like,
that was it.
And they showing the graffiti and they start talking. They call themselves writers because what?
For all this.
Believe. Because she was like, no, we're gonna watch it and you're gonna like it.
She like was already she already seen where you were going and was pointing you in the direction.
Right? So check this out. It goes on. Like I'm watching it just like this. It goes off. And I'm like, whoa, it's over? She's like, yeah, I knew you were gonna like it. I look at her and I go, 11-year-old me, is that what I'm supposed to be doing? She says, if it talked to you like that, yes. Got right into it after that. Like trying to find what I couldn't dance that good, so I was like, oh man, couldn't draw. I was like, oh man, couldn't rap. So I was like, man, what am I gonna do? And then what happened? I saw Jam Master Jay in like '85 on. They did a live Run DMC at the Ritz on the MTV, and I had a VHS tape. Threw it in. Let's see, '85. I'm 13. So he's up there with the famous run, scratch routine, Jam Master Jay, and I'm like this. Oh, I can do that. I was already in the records.
Speaking of Jam Master Jay,
And that was it. That was.
But you didn't. But you hadn't seen like. But you hadn't seen like because.
I just heard records. You're right.
Because
you're right.
Now
Yeah.
there's the internet and there's, like now people aren't realizing that
Until
like,
that-
you don't even know that this is a
Exactly.
thing. You're like until you actually. Oh, that's what they're doing.
How are they
Like,
doing the scratch? Oh,
And you
that's
see it,
how.
which is interesting because now, like, as soon as you want to see something, you're like, okay, what is that? You look it up, but you've had to wait months before because hip hop is inaccessible and no one's recording.
Like we
it.
were hearing the records. We don't even know
wild.
what they. We don't even know what they look
Yeah.
like. Really.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't.
You know
even,
what I'm saying?
It reminds me of like when Big Gip was talking about the Source Awards. He's like, it was the first time he had ever seen like the Wu-Tang Clan. First time he ever seen Bone. First time he had seen Death, because you always see each other on TV.
Right.
Like you don't see each other in like, oh shit, that's really Wu-Tang Clan. Like that kind of shit. Like you don't even know what it. Like, oh shit, that's what a DJ is. Like you just have like an idea in your head, you're trying to figure it out, and then all of a sudden, bang! Like.
Yep.
It's the first time. It's like literally like the first time, because at that point in time, there's not many examples of it
At all.
like ever, anywhere.
At all. So I taped that, and when
It's just interesting.
when my parents came home, Pops was playing the gig. I remember it because it was like a moment in my life.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's hip hop.
Yeah,
That's
and they
fucking-
came in from the gig, and I said, I figured out what I'm going to do.
How'd you get your first turntable?
And they were like, what? And I threw Jam Master Jay on, and my father was like, what the fuck is this shit?
Well, hold up before we jump the gun here. Jam Master Jay
Greatest.
is responsible for
Yes.
making sure that Run and DMC had their Dookie chains.
That's right.
Oh, come on. We got to get the Dookie
Oh,
chains
shit, you
out.
got the Dookie chain.
Dookie chains out. You know what I'm saying? There we go.
I didn't know if I was going to have a Dookie chain.
Yeah,
And
put on
that's,
the Dookie
yeah,
chain.
100%.
Yeah, hell yeah, man.
Those
Pure
are
gold
real.
through and through.
Those are 1,000.
The color's not
No, I
changing
remember
at all
these,
on
bro.
those.
This was everything to get one of these back in the day.
right.
So
You had to do a lot.
what's your origin story? Get the headphones back on you.
I mean, it's based,
So you're going out. He's all
Jam
from
Master
Roxbury.
Roxbury. Yeah.
Okay. So first time you're hearing and experiencing hip hop, because you guys don't know each other yet.
Let's see.
Nah.
Right after, yeah, we're coming up to meeting.
Yeah.
Like where I was just at in my part,
All right.
about to meet.
Okay.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, like most, it was Rapper's Delight because that was on the radio.
Kinda the only
on
thing
like
was out.
Kiss 108. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And then from there, it went two places. I always forget about this. You remember Stephen Brown? Mm-hmm. So I used to get bused to school out in Newton.
Okay.
Right? So this kid named Stephen Brown made a song called These Are the Grapes, where he rhymed about fruit and shit. He was nice. Stephen Brown was nice, right? Right? He used to live up from my grandmother in Mattapan.
How do you record it?
He didn't. He just
When you see him
on the bus
when you see
every
him,
day.
you knew it, yeah.
So every day on the bus, I get on, like we going to school, I'd be like, yo, do that, dude. These are the grapes.
How old are you guys?
Shit, I don't know.
Junior
I
high
was
school?
a kid. Nah, hell no. I was like
Not even.
single
Elementary?
digits.
Oh shit. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I was single digits because These Are the Breaks came out when?
80.
80? Yeah.
Which is crazy because like it's not even been around long enough yet
Yeah.
for like adults to emulate it. But meanwhile, like you guys are already like, that's what we're doing.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
These are the grapes.
I'm
These
single
are the
digits.
grapes.
And he did These Are the Grapes. And so I was like, yo, but what song is that? And then he told me, he was like, it's a song. So I couldn't find it, but I just listened for it. And every now and then they would play it. Every now and then. And then I heard the message. I was living at 212 Boylston Street in Jamaica Plain. Right? Like the train used to run up top, so the train was right out our kitchen window kind of thing, like a half a block down.
I can visualize it.
And I heard the message, and this dude named Guy, it was a family that lived under us. It was two brothers and a sister. It was Betty, Aunt, and Guy. And Guy was like the cool one. He had the spiked belt. He had the rebel hat. He was, you know what I mean? Aunt was cool too, but Guy was like,
He was a guy.
he had the
in
radio.
the culture
Guy
already.
was-
in
Guy
the
was
culture
the guy.
already.
Guy had the radio.
In the culture already.
And there was a park like maybe 3 blocks down in the cut, like over by, I don't know if you know Jamaica Plain at all, but over by like the Sam Adams Brewery, like
yeah,
behind there was a basketball court, like behind there up a little bit,
Okay.
a little further down. It was a quick walk to the park, and I would go to the park, and Guy would be there with the radio, and I would wait for him because I ain't really like my older brother, so I tried not to hang out in the same places. You know what I mean?
Shout
One
out
of
Brother
those things.
Starks. Shout out Brother
Shout out
Starks.
Brother Starks. And I'd be like, yo, you walk home, you play that song, and he would play it, and his room was under mine. We lived on the 3rd floor, he lived on the 2nd floor. And I would like on the floor, and he'd play it, and I'd get down on the floor and listen to it, you know, in the wintertime.
Are young people hearing this? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like this
Right.
is like
I learned that
That's
song.
right. That's right.
I learned that song
It's like
literally
it's like contra
Through the floor.
yeah, listening through the floor,
real.
like listening through the floor. I learned
Like
it
breaking through the matrix.
walking home. All right, guy, you couldn't play it in the hallway going up to your turn. Daniel was this little 3-family joint.
Yeah.
And I think some real old people lived on the first floor. I don't even have any memory of them because we seen them that less. It was just us and guy. Yeah.
Yep.
And I learned that listening through the floor. And when we played a show in Brooklyn, and Raheem was there, I think it was the RA show. And I got to meet him, and I told him that story. And I was like, yo, I learned your verse from
Through the floor.
through the floor, listening through the floor. He was like, what? I was like, yeah. I was like, I'll never forget that. And I think just a little before the message, there was because when hip hop came out, it was like a lot of it. Because
To us, yeah.
everyone was rapping something like, I remember telling you this the other day, like there was a record, do you remember? You might not. It was a record called Count Cool Out. It was a dude called Count Cool Out.
Count Cool Out.
And he like rhymed in a Dracula voice. So always had cool uncles and shit. You know what I mean? So they would have these records, and I'm like, man, what is this? Like super rhymes.
Well, back in the day, like everybody, you had to have. I mean, this is even pre like style, but like you had to have. If you sounded anything like, looked anything like, talked anything like,
you had to come up with something.
Yeah, you just had to say something.
Like, but like as long as it was different, it was accepted.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
like
and in the beginning, they didn't know where to put rap.
Right.
So it was novelty.
Yeah.
That's why you had like Rapping Duke
Yeah.
and Hambo. Remember
Yeah.
Hambo was
Yeah.
Rambo rap.
Right.
That's why though. And those records were big. Those were like gold records.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know what I mean? They're on like Tommy Boy and them labels too early.
But
you know what I'm saying?
You also got to like.
it was a gimmick in the beginning for sure, as far as category.
But that's also like
so crazy.
You can't get the bar structure if you don't start there.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? You
Yeah.
have
That's
to start
right.
at that
Yeah,
step
yep.
to get to the second step, to get to the, to now it's coming back around. But like you had to, like the 90s and the early 2000s when it was built up to almost perfection. You know what I'm saying? Like you had to start at like, yo. You had to do that. 1, 2, 1, and like get the rhythm.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
like throw, okay, I'm going to do better words than that with
I
the
mean,
better
it's
Right,
rhythm.
exactly.
Like,
It's fun.
It's how you learn
good.
to. Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah.
do better words on top
Yeah,
of the other.
yeah.
Like, and then it just kept building and now where, like,
Be
all
like,
this
yo,
crazy
he
shit.
said spectacular. Like I'm gonna do
Yeah.
something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Or even say spectacular, but I'm gonna say it like different.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Put some
Exactly.
flavor
Like,
on
he
it.
said
some spice.
spectacular. I'm gonna say vernacular because it right. You see what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah.
Like,
No, it starts
So,
with
yeah.
like you hearing a
And it's
song and
competitive as
memorizing
fuck.
it.
Like,
Yeah.
like I want to have the flyest shit.
Yeah.
It's just like it's the exact same thing with the chains and the dress and all that shit. Like it's the same shit of doing that with your words. Because now you're on stage in front of everybody. Like, all right, like that's cool, but like I'm gonna think of some better shit. I'm gonna think of some
Yeah.
flyer shit. You know
And
what
it's
I
the
mean?
same with the B-boys watching moves and the
Yeah,
graffiti
yeah.
on the wall. Like that's what's so dope about it.
Super competitive, super
Yep.
like
It drives
like,
you.
like because you're trying to in the beginning. I mean, imagine you're trying to like get women and shit with it too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
No, once I knew like,
That was
wait,
never-
once I was like, hold up, we're getting money doing
That
this?
was never this.
That was it. That's when I knew. And that's in 86 or 7.
super early.
Like I did my first DJ thing, not to cut off your story, but I did my first DJ thing. It was a art gallery in Soho, New York, Manhattan. And I'm like 15, and they were like, I don't even have 2 turntables like that. I got like a Gemini, and like I got whatever I have. You know what I'm saying? Maybe 1,200. I saved up a whole year to get one, and I saved up a whole year to get the second one. You know what I mean? But I did my first gig, and I was playing everything. Like they used to tell me Bambaataa would play anything that was like ill, like with a break. So I was doing that, and then I was playing the new hip hop, and I got $200. I was like 15.
How do you even like end up in Soho if you're in like Newton?
No, see, so that's why like
Yeah.
Newton, Vermont, these things are all like not really. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well,
Like,
you get.
so
I
you-
mean, I read the rundown of like 13 days after high school. You moved
Out.
to New York.
Yep, out, and had already lived there with my parents. Like with the parents.
When do you like? When does your guys' stories intertwine? Like, so you're listening to the floor. You're starting. You're already doing DJ shit. Like at 12, 13 years old.
Yep.
You're already like trying to figure out records and
Yep.
figure that shit out.
Yep.
You're already wild styled up. You don't know him yet. You're listening through the floor on the other side of the fucking city.
Yeah.
You're falling in love with the same art that he's falling in love with. When do you start like making music? Like,
Well, and before that, what was your first cassette?
First cassette. Might have been
Probably a TDK someone made.
probably, but the first store bought might have been Breaking.
look at me. I don't know.
Breaking. It might have been Breaking. But I had records
Soundtrack,
already.
yeah.
But I was into records. Like I already had Bill Cosby with comedy records. Like I was already.
He was already DJing. Like
My pops tells a story of me having a turntable at like 5 or 6, and telling him come in the room while I like ride, put like trucks on it, like my little cars.
yeah.
And turn on the wheel and watch it fly him off. You know what I'm saying?
Well, like,
he was like, "You was scratching records early, bro."
Like Block McCloud was here last week, or this week even, and he was talking about the same thing. He was making beats. He had like his first turntables at like 11, 12,
Word.
back in like 1980. And I'm like, that's so like nobody has that advantage. Like at that point, it's not like for even have a record player is fucking. You know what I'm saying? Like companies, like one company making like one at a time.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you got to save up $1 million fucking dollars.
And
to get
they
it.
had the trademark on it and the copyright and all that
Like,
too, techniques. So you
even
couldn't
get
even
the
make a
shit.
turntable
Yeah,
like
You
it
couldn't even get the shit. So it's
until
like
2000.
It's like this is all new shit. Like accessibility is super fucking
Facts.
new. So the fact that you are already into records, like anyone that's like, okay, I'm 13 years old in the 80s into records, like you're already there.
Right,
Like, you're off to the races. 'Cause,
Yep.
like, you're not going anywhere else because to get to where you are, it takes years. And you're just a kid doing it already. So
Yep.
like you're ahead of the game.
Yep. I'm
so
already buying records at like 10 years old.
Are you doing the same thing on your side?
Not really. Life is a little different. You know, just growing up in the hood, you do hood shit. But I always loved hip hop. Always. Just like if I wasn't, like if I ain't have some homework to do, I was like trying to remember that song I heard because you didn't hear this shit a lot.
Yeah.
So I was constantly trying to like. I remember trying to remember Rapper's Delight, and I would remember it up to one point, and I would let it come on the radio. When it came on the radio, I wouldn't say anything, and then when it got to the point where I tailed off,
Try to pick it up.
I would try to pick it up, like, oh, that's what he said, because I wouldn't move on if I was saying the wrong thing, because I really wanted to know, even though I end up saying the wrong shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's also it's early dedication when
Yeah,
this thing is
exactly.
like, when this thing isn't even a thing yet. People are like, what are you even fucking doing? You're like, I'm trying to memorize this thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Shut up, I'm listening.
But
Yeah.
I always ask the question of how it started though, because you guys have obviously made some big records with some big people, and when you're fucking got your ear to the floor, and when you're not thinking like, oh my god, the same people that
At
like,
all.
are on the walls
At
and
all.
shit
At
are the
all.
people that I'm going to be sharing my life story with later on,
Facts.
which we'll get to.
At
all.
But that's why
At
I like
all.
to start it here, because as a kid, especially when you're a super fucking fan to the point where you're like, I'm the kid listening through the fucking wall.
Right,
I'm that same
hitting the floor like,
I
play the
get it,
record.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, hell
that's
yeah.
like that's like fucking my mother's records up with a fucking
Yeah.
turntable that didn't work. I
that
never
didn't spin back, right?
Never knew how to do
Yeah,
it.
and I'm in there like, look at
just
this.
seen I seen Yo MTV Rap Saturday night, so I see him doing it, and I'm like, I fucking got her a Thriller record, and just fucking it up. You know, my
Yeah.
mom's young, so she's fucking me up,
Right.
fucking the records up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
kind of shit. You know, so I know exactly the place that you're at, and it's dope that in your one generation,
Yep.
like you can be with the greats,
Yep.
Yeah.
people that are actually in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah. No, it's you don't even.
No,
think
and people
about
were
it
telling
like
me like by 87, I'm already telling people I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna be there with them. I'm gonna be there with.
And there's not even them yet.
There's a little bit though by 87.
It's like, but not real. Like
You know,
it's
by
like-
then you got Criminal Minded, you got Paid in Full.
But
you know
they're
what I'm
not
saying?
like, it's still very niche. It's not like LL Cool J.
Well, to me,
is
it's not niche at that point because we're already from
To you.
82, 83
you
hearing
know
it.
who LL Cool J is, right?
Yeah, of course.
Now LL Cool J sells like eyeglasses
Right,
in,
yeah, yeah.
in Walmart.
Right, yeah, for
You see,
sure.
Like,
No,
which
it's
is
crazy.
like a fucking level of like,
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
crazy.
Yeah.
But at that time, he's the biggest star and nobody knows who the fuck he is.
Yeah.
That's when you're doing it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
So when you
what's
say
interesting.
niche in the mainstream, yes, but for us, it just was way of
Oh, it was
life.
life.
Yeah.
Like all you, like you would literally. So are you one of the guys too? Because shit came out on Tuesdays. Like you're already you're already there with the pre-order slips. Like you don't know, like you're getting the pre-order slip from Sam Goody. You're skipping school that day. You're already fucking in line. Like we're getting the CD. You're going like with your money. Like all right, I got every.
Well, we coming from where you don't know where to get it
no,
yet.
Well, that's what
we ain't no
yeah,
fucking money
like
for that.
Strawberry, and Strawberries don't even have that yet. Like I remember,
No.
I remember going to Strawberries to find Eric B as president, and I saw another kid that looked like me going in the same direction of where those records was, and I ran to that record, and my hand went on the record first, and his hand went on it too, and he looked at me like maybe we could, and I let him know that we could, and then he was like, "Go ahead, man," and I was like. But I had that was Strawberries right there on Storrow Drive. But I went all over town looking for it. My dad, yo, Pop, drive me over to this record store on this place.
When I first got
That's
it
early.
came from the Benzino
That's
episode.
85, I think.
I bought Criminal Minded. was the first I think 89 was when it came out. But I was at Strawberries under the Boston Garden. You had to get like it was behind the glass. Like it was like in like one of those little black tape cases. Like it was only like 20 tapes. Like the hip hop section was behind the glass. Like, I was like 8 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like my pops had to be like, you can get that. Like that kind of shit.
Yeah. He had to okay it.
They had to like pull it up and put it on.
I worked at Strawberries for 1 year. I worked at Strawberries for 1 year.
It was like couldn't have been more than 50 tapes.
living the dream. Yeah, well, they would put it right in front of the register after we
so
all
like
pilfered.
when you're in it, like when it's that, and everyone's telling you it's not gonna last, it doesn't work, it's not real.
Yeah, fad. They told me that my whole life, all the way up to like last year.
Yeah,
all the way to last year. Hip hop might be making a little bit of money in
So when do you?
Yeah, a little something.
When do you transition and start like actually making music? Is it after you meet or before you meet him?
No, it was after it.
So when do you guys meet?
But
7th grade.
But you just came up in music. That was like your life.
Yeah.
You got caught up in street shit.
Yeah.
And music was like secondary.
No, music was
first?
always.
He was always thinking about like
always the music. We
Okay.
just, you know.
like the first time at my crib, he's like, I can scratch. And I'm like, okay, go ahead then. He goes, okay, I can't.
So it's like,
Yeah, what age
But
was
then
that?
he's like, I can rap. And then sat down and wrote a rap. You know what I mean?
What age was this then?
Let's see if it's 7th
was
grade.
10.
Yeah, he's
I was
10,
10.
I'm 11.
Okay, yeah.
but
Yeah.
like even like because then like you have to be someone has to know how to make it. Like you
Yeah.
can't just go on your computer and press a fucking button and microphones that doesn't exist.
Now you
have
just
to,
rhyme over the record. You flip it over to the instrumental and be
Hush
like,
hat
But you
is
even,
so
you even had to
easy.
know someone that knew how to do that though. You had to
Yeah.
even have that equipment.
Well,
like,
even though
you know what I mean? Like, it
the
wasn't-
breaks,
You had to
breaks,
have a record player. You
Curtis
had the
Blow,
shitty one.
Curtis Blow, the breaks on the flip side, it says "Do it yourself." It says it right on
Yeah,
the
yeah,
record.
yeah, yep.
Like it's the instrumental. Do it yourself rap. That's what it says. Like it was trying to encourage you
it's the instrumental.
to memorize these and do them. It's no more. We tired of that. We did that already. Like we already had a gang thing in New York. Like
And when hip hop first came out, that was kind of the direction it was going, and it was all about knowledge and fucking power.
for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
And that's that's the other part of it too for me. It was like once you started hearing that, the truth side of it, like, oh, listen to what Melly Mel's saying. Like listen to what Melly Mel said in Beat Street Breakdown. He said, "Don't be a slave to no computer."
Yeah.
He
Back
said
then.
it.
Back then.
That's like 84, bro.
Yeah.
Beat Street is like 84,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
so he's saying don't be a slave to a computer in 84. I didn't even know what a computer barely was in 84 at 12 years old. So to me, it was telling me things that as I got older right away was like, oh, I need to look further into what we're talking about here. Like,
Hip
what's,
hop is your vehicle for all.
Well,
yeah, to bring the knowledge forward and truth.
You would like hear people say shit, and you have to like go and look it up what the fuck it meant. Like
Yeah.
you'd have to like go and like, oh, okay.
Well, and even like when Rakim comes out and he starts like putting science to his rhymes when
That's
he's
what
doing,
I'm saying, yeah.
you're like, wait,
What the
did he
fuck?
really just say 7 MCs and
Yeah.
put them in a line and
Which
7
that-
MCs and
it sounds like
Crazy.
not that complicated now, but at the time when no one's doing it yet, and you're trying to like figure this shit out, but like the only like when Black Thought rhymes now. Like sometimes you gotta like, who the fuck is Micheline Thomas? Okay, you have to like look that up. Oh shit, okay,
Right,
all
right.
Like, who the fuck is Sarah
Vast-
Parkman? Okay,
vast-
that's
yeah,
it.
vast
Going through the
knowledge of
like
shit, yeah.
figuring it out. But that was like all of it back then. Mm-hmm. It
That's
was
what
like
made hip hop though.
it was supposed to be knowledge. Like and everyone's
Yeah.
talking about knowledge itself and fucking passing on knowledge,
Yeah.
and it's the same.
And what was dope too was me. I looked at it like it was dope because it would be like, no, find out about you, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You, not just black people, this people, that people. You're what? Polish, you're Italian, whatever the. Because that's what I used to get from Karis when before I even linked up with them. I was like, no, I'm not just saying that, but find out. Yup,
Yeah.
that's what it means, you know. So
Huge.
that hip hop, it came in to do that, and it did that
it did actually, and it's
because we're still here talking like that.
Yeah.
well,
I'm not some old man that's like, oh, and back then we were it's still relevant right now.
during like the 90s, I know the numbers, it's like the inner city minority college numbers like quadrupled, like off the backs of like a different world, Cosby Show,
Exactly.
and hip hop.
Yep.
Like, because
Yeah,
hip hop was in a different space then, and then it became different and shit changed.
Yeah.
And it kind of went the other way. But for a long time, like there was a lot of enrollment in the inner city, like going to college, getting
Yes.
educated, like
Yep.
off the back of hip hop.
Yep.
You know, and seeing
No, because I
examples.
remember seeing knuckleheads like pulling out books now, like
Yeah.
in the late '80s, like
Leaders of the New School.
I read this.
Or Righteous
Like
Teachers.
you read
Oh.
that, bro? Like, yo,
I wasn't
that's
no
what's
fucking
up.
dummy coming up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't no dummy. That used to piss my mother off because I wasn't no
She was
like,
not playing
like I
that.
was getting accepted to colleges at
hip hop, it wasn't knowledge.
He's smart.
Hell yeah.
To break that shit down, if you put you in your fucking get on this, you know what I'm
Fact.
saying? Now, not even just
Well, because we
hip-hop.
were in a participation trophy era, so
Yeah,
these
yeah.
kids I got a trophy for showing up. Why are you yelling at me? You know what I mean? Like I showed up.
Well, there's no
So
gatekeepers suck, but the barrier of entry, there should be a barrier of entry.
And there's none now.
There's
Yeah.
zero. Like you could, as long as
Yeah.
you have a fucking phone
yeah,
and internet,
yeah.
you can
You
make.
just
Yep.
do something
And,
stupid.
and just the fact that there's labels don't have the power they once had.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good thing at the
yeah,
end of
that's
the day.
that's
Especially
a
for
good
someone like me who like that part of the game is why I'm not some famous. I just can never fuck with the
But it went-
actual
but it went
industry. I
from
made a
ma-
lot of money in it, and I did all these great things, but the actual industry itself,
But it went from major labels to indie labels.
Yeah.
In the early 2000s.
Yep.
Like you had Rhymesayers, Def
yep.
Jux.
And it's kind of back to that, only without
Well,
you
it's
don't
almost
even.
no label. Yeah,
Yeah,
now
you're
it's
not even-
no label. It's
Yeah.
SoundCloud. You're a SoundCloud.
But the problem is though, right,
rapper.
is that like
Yeah.
That still exists,
that's-
right?
if you're a
Little
young
bit.
artist or a new artist trying to come up, and like I have a tool that I can press 3 buttons and make a song, like I don't have to like engineer it, I don't have to do any of that shit. So now my quality of my shit is going right through the.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
have
yeah,
to
yeah.
write anything. I don't have to memorize because I don't have to pay for studio time. So I
Right.
don't gotta like memorize my rhymes. There's no cadence to it. I'm
Right. Mm-hmm.
just writing the first dumb thing that's on my head because I can make 30 songs in a day that are 1 minute long each. There's no like pride in the art anymore. So like even someone like yourselves, like you'd have the same tools, but you're gonna mix, you're gonna master, you're gonna engineer, you're gonna bring the highs down, you're gonna bring the lows up, you're gonna like
True indeed.
you're gonna like even it all out and make it sound right. And that's just like the difference though of like that barrier shit. Like there's no fucking like no one can like I can do, and then it goes a million plays, so they think that shit's like good.
And meanwhile, it's all robots,
But
from
then
the
it-
small guy to the little guy to the big guy.
But if you go a year later, you can't even name the songs.
Exactly.
at
You're
all.
like, oh, who the fuck was? Oh shit, that dude was. Oh, you're right, but he was the biggest thing in the
Yep.
fucking world. Tour did fucking shows in front of 70,000 people.
Yeah.
and the
Outta
next year, you
Outta
can't
here.
you can't do
Outta here.
100
Did you
people.
ever think about when you was out of here?
It's like how the fuck does that even like?
It's
happen?
quick, but that was the industry wanted it that way, but it backfired on them. They thought they were going to be able to just by now have AI artists, you know, and
That's what's
I
next.
think
They're working
they do.
on it,
I
but
think
it-
Yeah,
they
they're
do.
working on
yeah,
it.
no, they're working on it. They had one like in the pandemic, and then it failed miserably.
I'm
but-
scared. But when it comes to major labels, when you did leave high school, you went out to New York specifically because of a major label, right?
I mean, yeah, it was. I did an audition for a group that was signed to Reprise Warner Brothers,
Yeah.
and it
And
was,
you won, and you like,
and I
passed.
killed the audition, and they said you have to live in New York because right now all our gigs are here, and they're big. They were big gigs. It was opening up for like Jungle Brothers' second album,
Fishing like a man.
Tribe Called Quest only got one album out. It was like shows with them, and it
and
was
the group was called Unity 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Unity 2. So it was like they were from a
With the first scratch DJ?
with
in
the
group?
band.
Okay.
They had a band and I was the DJ. So it was the first to be signed to a label, like a band with the DJ.
Almost like the Roots.
Yeah,
No, I was gonna say-
it was like a Caribbean version of the Roots, like, right? Like,
I was going to say almost like Slipknot. Was there a band and they...
oh, I never
first
knew about them.
turntable.
Yeah, I know.
Different era.
Right.
But yeah.
Like
No, so they were signed, and they had came from the ska world, the ska reggae world.
Yeah.
It was two dudes from this group called the Toasters, which is kind of a legendary ska band in New York. And shout out Nene and my man Cavo. Those are the two dudes, a black dude and a Haitian dude and a white dude that were from the Toasters, made this group called Unity 2. But the people in their band were all the people that played on KRS-One's Blueprint album. It was all reggae players. All reggae players.
There you go. Right
So-
into the ears of a young Tash.
So me being here, I was in a band. I was in a reggae band that toured around Massachusetts.
Which is
and-
actually dope if you think about that.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
That, like you're working with people that like I'm in a suburb in the other side of the fucking and I'm hearing that shit like
Yeah.
it's finding me.
You're right.
This is what-
Yes,
it's hard, but
yes.
I'm
That's
finding
right.
it, you
That's
know what
right.
I'm saying?
No, the
Like-
sound is fine, and who's gonna? Yeah.
But
for
this
real.
is as a teen, right? You're
Yeah.
you're touring as a teen.
Yep.
With the
And I had
reggae
already
groups
did that
around here.
because when I lived in and through probably this is how I knew I was gonna do it by '87 because in '87 I lived in I think Texas or maybe '88, and I met a dude out there that was doing shows already and put us on a mini tour of Texas. We did like San Antonio, Dallas, and I'm like 15, 16, like we're all stuck in like 100 motherfuckers in one hotel room, and the phone rings, and this this dude picks up like, yeah, like some ignorant cats from the block up in Dallas, like, yeah, somebody's yelling like this. And the dude goes, somebody know a Jane? It was my mom.
Mom.
I'm like, oh, I think that's my mom. And I pick up and she, my mom. She letting me have it so much. I'm like, I just got the phone like that. And everyone in the room is just on the floor laughing. Like, but it's my first tour. I could give a fuck that I'm going to get reamed out when I get home. And it was just because I didn't call. She allowed me to go. They knew I was going to do it too. They were
She kind of like ran away on tour.
like sort of, but not really, because they were like, it's cool. They met the
Right,
guy.
that's what
They
your
knew the
dad
guy,
had
and the
been
guy, and the guy ended up being Keir Worthy, who ended up signing KMD.
Okay.
That was dope.
Oh,
Yeah. So
that's the
like,
guy who took you on tour?
no, yeah, the first tour, Keir Worthy. That was my guy at the time. He was like in college, and he was doing. Check this out. He was doing. This is why I learned about rap in other states. I was in Texas, and this dude was getting records from other places. And I'd be like, "What's this Sir Mix-a-Lot bullshit?" And he'd be like, "Bro, that you from New York? That ain't for you." Like, but when if I bring this to this DJ downtown and play it tonight in Austin, Texas, in 1986, they're gonna go crazy.
But
And
he got KMD signed.
Yeah, he ended up-
He is MF Doom's group.
yeah.
I'm still trying.
That's why I say it, because he ended up moving to New York. I think he was from Michigan or something. He went to Texas to go to school.
Yeah.
Got into party promoting and record promoting, and that's how I learned about Too Short. That's how I learned about. And I was like, wait, they do rap in other places? And he was like, boy, get your mind out of New York. And
Trigger happy.
yeah, the ghetto. Well, I was learning about the Ghetto Boys early,
Boys.
before they even had the what we know as the Ghetto Boys,
Yeah.
like in Texas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was already knowing, like, all right, when I get out of here, because I knew I wasn't going to stay there, I'm going to be New York. I was hoping I could do it in Boston, because I knew we were going to end up, all the family roots for me are in Boston.
Yeah.
So I was.
But not at that time, and maybe not even at this time.
Yeah.
So Unity 2, though, you got...
legendary reggae group. So that's my roots in the game, because I was in a reggae band that they produced our demo. I wasn't really in the band. I was the DJ on the live shows.
So you weren't recording that album with them.
What? No. What happened was they had recorded it and got rid of their DJ and needed one.
Okay,
And
yeah.
because the guys that were playing in the band, I had just worked with them. They had came to Boston and produced the band I was with. They were like, yo, you should let this nasty dude come from
Yeah,
Boston.
He's nasty, yep.
And they were like, okay, like we got someone about to choose, so come through. Came through. My pops drove me down we drove down from New York. It was crazy. I was doing a gig on Block Island.
Are you guys making music yet together?
We were making music kind of from the first, like, he comes to my crib and sees I got turntables.
But I only ask because, like, you guys.
We have tapes of us being a radio station from, like, we're kids. Our voices
I'm
are this
assuming
big.
that, like, you're Metco or something, and you ended
Yeah.
up going
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
That's how you guys met, right?
Yep.
Like, so
Yeah.
they're busting you out to Newton,
Yeah.
where you're at. You got the inner city shit, the hip hop, where it's at, listening to the floor, and you're bringing that to you, and you're like, you already got the tables and shit set up, ready to go. So
Yeah.
you're like,
Yeah.
oh shit, plug.
Because I wasn't a kid in Newton that was like a Newton kid.
That's Mobb Deep story.
They were like, you're. Why does he always say man after everything? That was Newton. Like when I got to Newton, I'm like, what, kindergarten or whatever?
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, what's up, man? They're like, yo, why does he say man after every single thing?
Like the first day we met. This is
I
how
didn't
we
even know
met.
that was a thing.
This is how we met. Yo, you got fat laces, man. You my man.
Oh, yeah.
because you already knew.
And
yeah.
we was
that was like the club.
The signal
You're
was
in the
already out.
yeah, exactly. You're in the club if
that was
You know what that is.
that was exact, right? Right?
Yep.
That was exact.
Yep.
You had the
No,
Pumas on, and I was like, yo, you got the fat laces. You my man. New kid in school. Nobody knew him. Shit. Nothing. Walked into class. Yo, you got the fat laces. You my man. We was like this. I think I came out the house like the next week, right?
yeah, because then you said I remember because it was like wood shop, so it was some like smooth floors. So he seen like I had probably some b-boy pants on, like, and I'm not even b-boy, but I was hip hop all the way in my mind already. So
it's making me like long for that time because
and with the wood shop again,
Right.
You said, yo, so since we brothers, I'm gonna come to your house.
Yeah.
And I said, all right. I'm coming from Austin. I lived in LA. I'm not suburban. So I'm looking at him like, oh, okay. Yeah. Nah, it ain't gonna be no thing. Kidding me? And he's like, yeah, right. I'm like, what? You're gonna walk in? She's gonna say, I'm Jane. I'm his mom. Do you want a sandwich? I'm telling you.
did you get offered the sandwich?
Listen,
It was exactly like
that's
that.
exactly
Okay.
what happened. We walked in. I said, it's Rico. It's my brother. And she goes, hi, Rico. I'm Jane. Do you guys want sandwiches? I just made some, whatever, tuna fish or whatever. And you looked right at me like, we're brothers forever now.
Well, that's kind of where I'm.
And that's it.
I'm trying to get the.
Then he sees the turntables. Oh,
Yeah.
we're out of here.
So you guys like me? How old are you at this point in time?
I'm 10.
10.
He's 10, I'm 11.
10, 11 years
Yep.
old. And you're in your 50s now.
Yep.
Yeah.
and
This was a little while
you
ago.
guys have been making
Little bit.
music together like since then.
Yep.
Yeah,
And you guys
basically.
both live in Vermont now.
Yep.
Do you guys like live in the same house and shit?
Nah.
Not at all,
like-
not at all.
Nah,
So
nah.
it's like,
Nah.
you know what I'm saying? Like you guys obviously have like a kinship that like.
Yeah, we just always end up in the same place. Like when he was in New York, like once because I used to call him all the time. Rakim came, made me think about it, right? And then this is gonna fuck you up. I skipped a whole day of school the first time I heard Potholes in My Lawn. So De La found, and like, I'm the only motherfucker on the block in a flowered shirt.
I was just gonna say that part.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Like
no
back
one on
then,
the
he's
block.
in Roxbury with the De La Soul
I always say
gear on.
Styles P
Yeah.
is like he always says his favorite group is his favorite rappers are De La.
Word,
all the
word.
time. Like and it's just like trying to
Yeah.
picture Styles P, just
Right?
like
Yeah.
Yeah,
De La
like
Soul
hippied
shit.
out.
Like someone always asks me, like, yo, who's your favorite MC? And I always look at him and say, you're gonna say Rakim, and you wouldn't be wrong, but you're never gonna say Q-Tip or Pasta News, and you're gonna miss.
Did you ever get to work with him?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
But yeah,
So on the agenda.
it's on the agenda. I mean, I don't really have an agenda. We just
Yeah, we
love
just-
this shit. We
yeah.
just
But
we are still two kids making this shit.
that's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean?
It's like
Yeah.
it's what I mean.
It is
Kinda
that
just- kinda
complete-
just-
Like we
When it
just-
come to our shit, it's like
hip hop
it's
is
just
super
we're just always
accessible.
doing it.
Like it's
Yeah.
I don't know how rock and roll is and all this shit like, but hip hop like if you're willing to go to the place that they're making it, you're willing to hold your own there, like you'll be accepted. Like
Yeah.
you'll have
Yeah.
access. Like
Yeah.
it's not really hard to get access, even from some of the greats.
Yeah.
Like it's not really that hard. If you come with the correct
in the car, MC Ultra magnetic with parking spot. Oh, well, it's parked by where this rat just came out. Yeah, all right, boom. Spin around. We go to the hotel. Stand outside. We're like, yo, we going upstairs. The Static. He's on the list, of course. You know what I'm saying? Boom, boom, boom. The Stat and the third. I'm like, I'll be back. Got to go to the bathroom. Yo, what's the bathroom? Way over there, around the corner. This, that, and the third. Yeah, sounds like I got to go outside. I go outside, use the bathroom, piss on a rat or two. I come back. We was downtown Brooklyn. We was in Dumbo. Where was that?
Yeah, something like that.
Close to. I come back, yo, guess who's it? Who? Said G. Oh, yo, we was just talking about these. Like, I just told him, and I was like, yo, man, like I don't ask this question a lot, but can we take a picture? He was like, yeah. I had a fly ass MF Doom shirt that day too.
That was a good pick.
And he just looked at me like, I was like, I was just singing that
No,
song.
and that was
We
crazy. 'cause-
Just talking.
No,
about
we were
that.
coming from a show too. Remember, and at the sound check,
Yes.
they was playing
Yes.
a Ultra Mag song.
Yes,
So it was like
yes.
on the third one, Ultra
yeah.
Mag walked out the
Yeah.
fucking elevator.
It's I
No, that was great.
It's.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they don't compare, but just he was there with the Onyx shit, and we're sitting there listening to fucking It Was Written, rapping the lyrics with Onyx.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
You was at the Onyx show too?
No, not that one, but
Oh,
there was one
okay.
in Maine that we were at,
Oh,
and fucking we're back there. Quick little interview, but like you know, like It Was Written was just on. They had that just playing on the radio.
Right.
So in between, like you're smoking and like rapping lyrics
Yeah.
to It Was Written with fucking Onyx.
Right.
Yeah, it's dope.
That's dope.
If I told my 13-year-old self that, like when
Right.
I'm walking to the bus stop with Throw Your Guns in the Air playing on my skipping CD player that I'm
Yeah.
holding,
Yeah, yeah.
Hold it so it won't
yeah,
roll.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, and I'm the only one on the bus listening to this shit, and I'm fighting with kids about it and all sorts of shit. And like, oh yeah, but in 30 years, you're gonna be like, what the fuck? But
Yeah.
hip hop is super accessible like that.
It is.
You know what I'm saying?
It
like,
is.
if you're willing to put your work and your time in, like
Especially
anyone, like yeah,
nowadays.
it's like it's so accessible,
Especially
and people will let you in. So it's just cool like that, and so you can actually do that. Like, oh, I want to work with this. I mean, you work with Mobb Deep.
Yeah, yeah.
You know
Well,
what I mean?
because look,
cool
what,
like
like
that.
for me, just not to change the subject, but because of stems with the DJ shit, where you can break the records down like beats, drums, bass, whatever. It's like DJing again in my room like a kid. Now, whatever I think I could maybe do, I can't. It weren't a thing yet.
Even to, like in the 90s still with like single deals and shit.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. But in the beginning, it was just singles,
Yeah.
right? Run DMC might be like one of the first albums. There's like a couple Sugar Hill albums, you know what I mean? So everyone up to that point of Run DMC rap like Zabba-Dabba-Zabba-Dabba-Da, right? Everyone had the one-hit wonder style. Then Run DMC came out and they were yelling. So everybody started yelling, right? Everyone. You got Grandmaster Caz, all of them making yell records. Now that's kind of what we have, right? It's not the same music or style or anything, right? But we just got everyone making the same records. Oh, that's hot. I'm going to do that. Like that way, right? When Q-Tip first came out, we were like, what's he wearing? You know what I mean?
Keep the band, no type.
Yeah, everyone that came was something different. It's like, what the
Might
fuck?
allow you to do
But as soon as you hear, that's a dope thing about hip hop, right? As soon as you hear it, you're like, oh, okay, he can.
As long as it was different too.
Yeah,
It didn't-
exactly.
It didn't matter. Like
So we're there again, though. Like, and that was a remix, and the band was a hassle for the like the rap industry. Band wasn't. No,
too many pieces.
way too many, and they were all seasoned veterans in the reggae world, so they wasn't playing no games. Pay me what you said. You know, there was no, oh, I'm just so happy to be here. No, which was good for me because I was happy to be there.
Like that's all real instrument shit. Like those early records.
Yeah.
There is like obviously drum beats and shit in there and like break beats and stuff, but a lot of that's like actual saxophone, actual horns, actual. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't notice that because now in the middle of the '90s everything was sampled and everything was started to make with machines.
Yeah.
You didn't need to bring band members in anymore.
Yeah.
But that early shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't really fucking like. You go back and you're like, wow, I didn't fucking.
So
know
they
that.
didn't. They were signed, and we did little tours and stuff, but they didn't want the band. So then they got some. A Q-Tip actually did a remix for them that I did the scratches on, and I was like, I was literally had just moved to New York from high school in Newton, Massachusetts. So I'm like, oh, I'm already connected with the people I want to meet. You know what I mean? And just being around all the people. And I was already so into what BDP was about, that to me it was like a perfect fit because I was ready to read books. And because when I met KRS-One, he said, "Did you read this book?" And I was like, "No." And he was like, "Well then, you know."
So you obviously have a close relationship with KRS-One.
Go read it. Nah, not really.
Not really?
No. It's just that he didn't want anyone around him that was going to look like, who's this ignorant motherfucker? Even though he had ignorant motherfuckers around him, it was the knowledge era. So he threw books my way just to see how I'd react, really. And it was just how he kind of treated people.
I don't think they do the same these days.
No, I don't think so.
But you're on tour.
Like, in other words, he looked at it like, okay, you're palling around with Harmony. Maybe because what happened was Harmony needed a DJ, and KRS-One had just produced Harmony's album. Harmony is Miss Melody's sister. At the time, Miss Melody is Harmony.
Were there girls back then?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's the difference. Like,
were there girls back then?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's the difference. Like,
That's the difference.
some of these younger cats be saying, like, no, nobody want to party that, like, conscious rap or whatever. And I'm like, bro, see, that's how I know you don't know. We were grinding on broads with the fucking Brand Nubian playing. Like, what are you talking about? Like, it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
But being with KRS-One at that point in time when hip hop is like.
He's like Jay-Z at the time. When I get to him. He's edutainment KRS.
It's more than even that because like we ask all the time like who's the most what's the best hip hop record whatever, but like who is the most hip hop person?
Right.
Like KRS-One,
he's up there with as a hip hop person.
You're not gonna really argue about it. You're gonna be like, all right, like I mean, who else is like so at that like. What the fuck is that like? Like when he is driving the hip hop ship, and you're a kid there who was a fan of hip hop.
No, it was.
Like, how the fuck are you ending up with like the guy?
Yeah, it's literally dreams.
Like,
you know what I mean?
Like where else?
But check this out.
D, like,
so check this out though. The year I'm going into like that's gonna happen, that whole school year or whatever. My parents used to always teach me to visualize what I was trying to do, right? So I had made
got those hippie parents.
Okay. So I had taken. At the time, Latifah's album was out, and there wasn't a lot of scratching on the album. So I made a tape of me being her DJ, right? And it was literally me, like as if we did a live performance. So I knew all her breaks. I got a scratch for that. Jesus. This one, right? Now, every night I didn't have a gig, because I had a lot of gigs by then already. So every night I didn't have a gig, I would go home, I would go to bed listening to that tape, and the two turntables was my pillows, and I would literally do the tape the whole show.
Well,
I did that for a whole
visualizing the show. Wow.
I did that for a whole year. Now we're talking about Queen Latifah. Now here I am with Harmony, right? And where are we going? We're going to date from the hood of like.
What's something that like
was Just Ice
that
hanging
people
around
wouldn't?
then?
Yeah, he used to be around.
Because he was probably knocking motherfuckers out.
Yeah,
too.
he was not taking the political like like step up and get knocked through the fucking ceiling with just like a lot of street dudes though. KRS too, but he just was like. Until that PM Dawn in that era, he was like, nah, that's not what I'm trying to keep out there.
Yeah.
I got a song called...
Wait, so you saying that he just didn't mind having a rougher reputation after Boogie Down Production?
Kind of, because he looked at it like, first of all, y'all taking shots at me every fucking year. You know what I mean? Like, cause being in the crew, you would hear the shit that was like, you know, it might not be something he's gonna go make a record about, but it's something he's like, yo, what the fuck? They call us over here? Like, fuck you.
What's something like about KRS-One that like an average fan wouldn't know, but someone that's like on the inside, like what's?
I don't know. He's pretty.
Or a story.
I don't know.
You remember,
All right, you want to know a funny KRS story? So, I love this story because I see it in my mind every time I tell it. So, when I get to New York in 1990, it was the New Music Seminar, and I'm Harmony's DJ and Unity 2's DJ. So I'm getting to be known in circles, and they would just tell me where to. Yo, just meet us here. Someone will come with a pass, and you'll be in. So there was a show at this on 40 Deuce. It was called a theater called the Lyric Theater. And this is a new music seminar, so new groups are going to play. You might have heard of them, you might not have, but new groups are going to play, and they're playing for free, but they're charging to get in. But meanwhile, at this place, it was a balcony, and BDP kind of took over the balcony with other artists. I'm talking like Chubb Rocks right over there. You know, every rapper was at the new music seminar in 1990. Every rapper, West Coast, East Coast. 1990 is when I wasn't there, but I was at that seminar when Ice Cube got jumped and King's Son was whooping ass. So I'm in there with KRS. Groups are coming out. Some of them, I can't remember all of them, but D-Nice was going to perform. That's why we were there as BDP. Now, I would say we. I'm the dude like, go get the water. Go get the, yo, Nastee, go get the fucking Haagen-Dazs. You know what I mean? Like, I say it like that, but I'm the scrub. I'm the go get it.
Still there though.
But I'm there though.
You're on the
exactly.
boat.
Exactly.
You are there.
And was willing. Like I got no ego about it. Like I'm rolling with the illest crew in
Part of history.
yeah. So a group, the host comes out. D-Nice goes on, kills it. So we're all gonna hang out and watch the rest. I think Moni Love was gonna perform, and they say, "Yo, we got some guys from Texas who come out here and show y'all how they do it in Texas." Da 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 da. So this little midget guy comes running out on stage. Now you gotta remember, it's 1990 New York. We don't know a lot about hip hop somewhere else. So this little guy comes out, and New York is like you know how you might see Showtime at the Apollo and they booing him. That's New York at that time. Anywhere it's Showtime at the
New York
Apollo.
now.
Like, we used to laugh about that. Like, yo, don't get Showtime at the Apollo. Like, so the Ghetto Boys come out. It's Scarface. It's Willie D. It's Bushwick Bill. Now they're laughing at Bushwick Bill. Like the audience, not even like up in the other lounge area or whatever where we can see from the balcony. It's not like that. They're kind of just left. Ghetto Boys. They didn't run off stage. They was like, they try to be, you know, they was G's about it. They were like, really? Like, we can't just, and they just got off.
That's funny.
So the whole BDP, and there's a picture somewhere of that night. I remember because I was standing next to the photographer, and that was the same night. There was a lot of beef in Brooklyn with the Koreans and the community. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Let's do the right thing.
and Chubb was in. We was really like this, but with purpose. You know what I mean? Some of it ignorant, but with purpose. Like, no, you're in our community taking all the money, and you're being fucked up to us.
Yeah.
That's the story. You know what I mean? There's certain things that was just that. So
Hip hop used to stand on 10 toes anyway. Like that was part of the deal. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like you had to be what the fuck you were talking about as
Exactly.
well. You had to stand up
Exactly.
for your shit, and that was all part of the fucking deal. Like you were the real thing.
Yeah.
Whatever the fuck you were talking about, because it took money and investment to get into it to begin with, because it was expensive.
That's
back
right.
then.
Yeah, yeah, you couldn't
had
just
to
do
have
it.
Somebody that was making money in the street somehow. And usually people making money in the fucking street somehow aren't
Mm-hmm.
the most pushover fucking people.
that's right.
So it's like,
Yeah,
especially
man.
to have expendable money to like spend on gold chains and fucking,
Just live performance, get paid home. That's
royalties.
you need to know what this is. You know.
What's crazy is
Is the new school getting shouts out on
Yep.
early album years before
Yeah.
they came. Organized Confusion. All these people, all these names. You know.
like there was a time that you could go into like a store and you would literally have every single album that
Manager, you should order like 20 of those.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, right. And I was like, I'm serious, man. Like, I know you don't like rap and shit, but
you did.
no.
At
And
all.
you
He
don't
just
make
make
beats at
beats.
all. You're rapping and he's making the beats.
I'm
at this
rhyming,
time.
he's making the beats.
Do you remember your first rhyme?
Do you make beats at this point in time?
I do, kinda. I do.
He
kinda.
could message.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave a
Just
rap.
leave a message.
So he would leave raps. And I'd be like, I would call him and he'd be like ready for the like, yeah, that was dope or whatever. And I'd be like, listen, when you're serious, we could talk about that. Because at the time he's a foot in the streets too. So 91, Like we're talking like bang bang shoot 'em up Bed-Stuy, not this coffee latte joint they got now. You know what I'm saying? Like it was real shit. You know, so I forgot what I was going.
Being in Bed-Stuy in '91.
Yeah.
Trust.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, but not even that. Look who you're around. I mean, like the music that's coming out. Like, are you?
Yeah. I lived on St. James and Fulton.
That guy is right outside.
That's what
Biggie's across the street from me.
Yeah, he's right outside.
Yeah,
I've seen Biggie
and that area
all the
was,
time.
and
So like when the freestyle like shit when he's out in front of the chicken spot like battling and shit.
No,
like,
that's the fish store,
the
right?
fish store. Yeah.
No, that's actually it looks just like it, but it's actually further down Fulton. The battle that we all seen.
Yeah.
Is it?
But yeah, it is. Because they told me the street it was. Free and them told me what street it was.
So are you there for this?
I'm not there for that, but I moved on St. James and Fulton probably 93.
So you live on actual St. James.
Right on the corner. Right on the corner. I watch him, you know the famous Biggie where he's throwing dice and he's got the
And shit like
shit
that.
is-
under the head.
I've had the Farah and shit. Like
Yeah.
I've been outside in Brooklyn and had some good fucking pieces. Best fucking Red Hook, all that shit. But anyway.
Yeah. But
that's crazy if you were in that area at that time.
Yeah.
So is that all real like that? Is he really out there doing that like that?
I would say from my perspective, he was small time hustling on the block and trying to get his music off.
That's not. I didn't even mean I was talking about the music part first. Is he really out there like fucking trying to push that music off like that? Like, was that really his shit? Like,
I think he was like when I was there, like, and because I had homies from Flatbush that knew him. They were friends. They would drop my man off and go see Big.
Did you know him?
And he says, "Yo, man, I see you." Comes out the pizza shop. It's a Puerto Rican dude. He's like, "Yo, I see you all the time with these damn records, man. Fuck you doing? What's good? What you do?" It was Biggie Smalls. So I'm like, "Oh shit, that is Biggie Smalls." He's like, "Yo, you need to fuck with me, son. That's my man right there, and I need beats, and I need that, and I." So that's my intro.
Who is the guy that you?
It's a dude named Porter Rock. He's in all the stories.
Yeah.
So he used to tell me call him Scarface because he had the buck
He's on
50
the-
down like this. Yo, go call me Scarface. I was like, yo, bro, you're wild, bro. So check this out.
Name on all the albums and shit.
So one day he comes and he sees me. He's like, yo, come fuck with me in the pizza shop. Now it was a wild pizza shop. He had two Arab dudes, twins, was selling the slang in the pizza, but they was doing things out of the pizza shop. You know what I'm saying? So dude's like, yo, come with me in the pizza shop. I go behind the counter. He opens the door in the floor. Go downstairs. He got this like plush office underneath the pizza shop. This dude, his pizza slices were $1 early, $1 slice. He said, I got to feed the community. I'm doing enough damage to the community with some of the stuff I've done in my life. I got to always make sure there's a constant give back. So I was fucking with him off that. Like, oh, okay, you one of them gangsters. So I'm like, but at the meantime, I'm also like, I don't like Big Papa. I don't like any of this juicy shit. This shit sucks. Like, I'm that guy in Brooklyn. I think those songs suck.
But give me the loot side.
Right. His album crazy, but those single songs fuck out of here. I don't even want to play them when I'm DJing, even though I would have to.
Is Puffer?
What if Biggie was gonna rap on it though? I'm like, I kind of don't even want to be the guy that gives him that beat. That's how young and hip hop, like no hip hop, pure only.
I'm still kind of that way.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
So we got cool. You know what I mean? And then I watched them film Juicy from my roof of St. James.
Yeah, because he's right up front. Yeah.
Yeah, I literally can hear the music playing, and I'm like, what are they doing out there? Like, oh shit, yo, look. So and that's when I knew, like, oh shit, because then
Obviously.
really soon a video comes out,
Bang,
and now we already knew because I had the big at the studio that Chung King where we were working on albums, a lot of albums with Dante Ross, as a matter of fact. I had the Big Mac, the Craig Mack and Big. Like, it wasn't mine, but a dude had it at the studio and was like, "Wait till you hear this."
Man,
and played us the Craig Mack and
you
Biggie
had that
demos.
Now that fucking.
Oh my God.
It's gotta be one of the greatest. Promos
Shout out my man Tate
ever.
from Hard to Tate. He had that shit and was like, "This is gonna be the biggest shit ever." Ever.
Was like Junior Mafia running around outside at the same time?
Yeah, they're out there. Yep. I used to see a couple of them dudes. I forget some of their names now, but I used to see a lot of them because we all smoke weed. So we're all in the best weed spots and bumping into each other. And they start knowing how to do music. And Porter Rock is telling them, like, yo, that's a good dude right there. Like, they the dudes telling me, like, yo, Nastee, go inside. Why? They about to start shooting out here. Like, you know what I mean? Because I'm the dude that, like, nah, I live on the block, but I'm not shooting nobody. I mean, I got a pistol, but I'm in the house with it. Like, I'm.
and
You have a house pistol.
and you're,
Yeah, I got the home security pistol.
Yeah.
Like,
and
you know,
you're saying Big's out there, but just a small time hustler.
yeah, I mean, from what I've seen, but it's a small window. We're talking about from Party and Bullshit to Juicy. Because once Juicy comes out, you don't see him.
He's gone.
You don't see him,
He's
man.
gone. He's out.
But I seen him do photo shoots, and I talked to him a bunch of times. Actions with him throughout some time that in Brooklyn, because he was like he'd be out there, so I'd go and tell him I got beats. At the time, I was gonna work with the Far Side. Oh, I work with these dudes. I work with that, and he just looked at me and was like, "It's all good, player," or something like,
Yeah.
like just nah. Because meanwhile, I'm like, my crib's right there. I got a studio, and at the time, people are pulling up at my spot. People that ended up being people, and like,
Yeah, and plus you got to try.
you know, and plus it's like, because I'm learning to engineer too. I'm this dude that people really want to fuck with. He got crazy beats, and he can record you at his crib.
Yeah.
So like, people from like, let's see, I'm trying to think of a good underground rapper that used to come to my, Mike Zoot. You ever heard of Mike Zoot? These are like Stretch and Bobbito favorites. Okay. Cage. Oh, Cage. Yeah. There you go, Cage.
Yeah.
Cage, I got tapes of Cage in my crib. He don't even have records yet. He's just a kid that raps, a white kid from Brooklyn that they were like, go to Nastee's crib. So I was trying to get Biggie. So I was trying to get Biggie to come up because it was like, bro, I'm not just some guy that's like, yo, bro, I got some beats or whatever. Especially back then, I'm really looking at him like, come on, bro, like, you gonna come up with me.
What was Cage like back then?
Weird.
Was he weird?
He's strange.
He's still weird. Yeah.
Strange. And he would get mad because at my house it was like Street Fighter, like the home of the Street Fighter. And I was kicking his ass. Like, we were supposed to rap, but he wanted to, oh, yeah, you Street Fighter. I was like, yo, you're welcome to the House of Pain, bro. You don't want to do it to yourself.
You brought weed up a minute ago. From being in that time and being in that space, you ever get weed from Branson?
He was a good kid, though.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Did you ever get Branson?
Oh, yeah. Branson used to come to the studio. See, so when later on, like if we fast forward a couple more
do you
years.
know what Branson is?
No.
It's
Richard Branson.
it's who the Samson character is named after.
So we,
when
you hear people talk about Branson, Biggie, Nori, Redman, Method Man, Busta Rhymes,
numerous rappers.
They all talk about Branson. Branson's where you used to get your weed.
Yep.
Fucking Branson was like that good shit with that Mr. Nice Guy from Dave Chappelle's character.
Yeah. That was this guy.
That was Mr. Nice
in
Guy.
real life.
In real life.
What was it? That was the 151st.
Something like that. Yeah.
So you got to give me a Branson story.
So I only met him once.
Did you ever go to the spot?
I went to the spot once, but I didn't go inside.
You didn't go inside.
I was in the car.
You ever go in there?
Yeah, man. Like, yo, Starks was with me. It was me, Starks, and some chick from a Manhattan project. He like, yo, we gonna go get some weed from the spot. This is when it was popping.
You got to describe the spot too for people. This is classic hip hop shit.
I mean,
right
to me, it's just a fucking store. You know,
you got to walk in. You got to like, it's like a fucking whole.
So, I'm not walking in there. I got some different principles. Like, I'm like, yeah, I'm not going in it. Now, mind you, this is me, Roxbury in New York. So there's always the Boston and New York has always been like oil and water.
Yeah.
Like, I grew up in that fucking drug war, and you know what I mean. Like, I used to hit. I'm going to the studio. I got my backpack with me.
Yeah.
I got the orange backpack.
Yep.
East pack. We in the car. We pull off. We get a half a block from Branson, right? Spotlight.
Damn.
Whip, whip. Like, yo. He's like, yo, tuck that shit. I'm like, a bag of weed? I ain't tucking this shit nowhere. He like, I'm telling you. Police come. Get out of the car. I get out the car. I slide it down my sock. You know what I mean? I got ankle socks on at the time. I slide it down, get it down to my soul. Between, you know what I mean? Hop out the whip. They're like, you know, DTs everywhere. Fucking helicopters. They're like,
helicopter for a fucking dime bag. It's crazy.
whoa. They're like, hands on the car. So it's out-of-state plates, right? This is Massachusetts plates. Hands on the car. We put our hands on the car. They're like, yo, what are y'all doing out here? I'm like, man, I'm just going to the studio, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, studio where? I'm like, 678 Broadway.
78.
I know the address. Like, the Lighting Plus is right there. They're like, yeah, all right. What are you doing out here? He's like, with my brother, taking my brother to the studio. And they's like, let me guess, 2 dudes from Boston and she's from New York, and y'all are going to the studio. At that moment, I'm out now. So I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not even, so I'm like, oh shit. Like, motherfuckers used to come up here to cop, like, okay. So they're like, where you live? She's like, da-da-da projects. They're like, search the car. Trunk pops, dude grabs my backpack. I say, yo, Can you just be careful with that, please? This is the police. Well, fuck the police, right? He's like, yeah, all right. Boom, slam my shit. Now, it's just notebooks. But he slammed my shit on the car. Now, so you know me, I'm like, right? He opens my bag. This is all fucking going to Branson. Just wanted to see what kind of weed they had. Opens my bag, pulls the notebooks out. Paper. I'm chasing papers down the street. They're like, freeze. I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this is my life right here. I'm, and the dude's like, you almost fucking died over a piece of paper. I said, I told you those are my rhymes, man. Like, I told you that I asked you to be careful with this backpack.
That's hip hop, right?
And he was like, he just looked at me and he paused for a second and he was like, he just did this with his flashlight. Tick, 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 tick. Boop.
Gone.
He's like,
twice.
Yeah. It's they were
Two
not
separate occasions.
They were not playing that shit.
Two separate occasions. I was in probation for 2 years for one of those.
And I did this. So I was working with. Oh, here's a dope story, man. So do you know about Studio 1212? You know?
Yeah.
Vaguely.
Okay, so Studio 1212 is a famous hip hop studio out in Queens, New York. It's run by a guy named Paul C. This is the guy who taught Large Professor and others how to make beats, Biz Markie, all these guys.
That's pretty crazy.
Passed away,
And he
right?
produced, and he produced Ultra Mag, among other things. He was gonna produce Rakim's album, and he passed away. And I was like, I didn't know anything about it, so I didn't know it was slavery. You know what I mean? But I was like, all right, yeah, okay, what do I got to do? So then they had me cleaning the bathroom, and they had a brownstone with a yard, so they had me mowing the lawn and shit.
Huh.
So after 2 weeks, I was like, yo, look, you could pay me to do that. I want to be around the studio, so you could pay me, but I can't do that. I don't have time. So they were like, so you're quitting? And I was like, nah, I got an idea for you. I'll bring you clients. You show me how to use the equipment.
what's 5?
I'm a hip hop engineer. I'm tired of telling this rock and roll fucking jerk off. Why is my drum sound like that? Why? Like, and we're Brooklyn and Boston, so we're ready to knock you out too. Like, fix the fucking record. So I started being like, let me get on it. And that quickly, oh, he's on stage with KRS and these guys. I quickly started making those moves in them circles. So by like 95, I'd already produced a group called Hard to Obtain. They had a little hit called Ghetto Diamond and another hit called L.I. Grooves. It's like underground New York shits, but they're on major labels.
I remember their cassette. It was like a bluish
Yeah,
cover.
Ism and Blues.
Yeah.
Ism and
Okay,
Blues.
yeah.
I produced on that, and that's SD50. They gave me my first, like, yo, we're going to take these
And that
beats.
was through Dante Ross, who
Yep.
who was also right?
Yep, and hip-hop.
Yeah.
So I'm the youngest, but I'm hip-hop. So I go from being like a assistant. I was the worst assistant because I was already engineering in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So I get to Manhattan, and I'm like, no, I can already engineer. And they're like,
In like the thunder sounds and
Yeah.
all that.
Yep.
M-Dot was just in here like, you got to have my boy Nastee.
word, yeah, that's my guy, yeah.
Yeah, so talk about the production how that album was produced
so-
and how you met Mobb Deep, like how it
Yeah,
all came
yeah.
together.
So the cutting room started being a place to go for hip-hop.
Yeah.
Because of me.
Yeah, we engineers are like, what you're actually hearing is the engineer.
That's right.
That's like what we're actually digesting. It's not the rapper. It's not the person who made the beat. It's the person who is the actually engineering the record.
Yeah.
You're hearing their
interpretation. It's a
It's like a photographer.
an engineer. I'm trash, right?
But you're creating the sounds for these fucking.
And the
like,
clients
major
are
records.
loving me. The clients are like, he knows what sounds right, and he smokes weed. He's like, where you from? Oh, I live in the sty. What? Oh, okay. You want old era Mobb Deep walks in. They don't have a record yet. They just, unbeknownst to me, it's Mobb Deep. You know what I'm trying to
Did they
say?
have the sickle?
Right? That was on that sticker, right?
Yeah. on the cover.
cover, too.
Was it on the cover?
Yeah, it's on the cover.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
One
Probably
place
on
in
the
that
No, so
way,
look,
too.
they walk in, and there's a bunch of them, but they're all little. So, and my guy's like a G from Brooklyn. He don't give a fuck. So, they walk in, and they go, "We're Mobb Deep," like just totally out, totally out of touch with like what it is. So they started wanting me to do it. So they started telling the management, and that was it. I became the Loud Records guy. I did I recorded. So that was right. So that was right after.
Purple Tape.
No, that was right after the soundtrack.
Soul in the Hole got that Diesel song, the Wu-Tang Diesel song.
Yeah, yeah.
That's dope.
That's a good
Method-
soundtrack.
Soul in the Hole got that Diesel song, the Wu-Tang Diesel song.
Yeah, yeah.
That's dope.
That's a good soundtrack, too.
Method Man the soundtrack's all right, but Method Man got a dope verse in that Diesel track.
Yeah,
You don't
yeah.
really get
Diesel
to hear-
joints.
you don't
Yeah,
get to hear
yeah.
very often.
Yeah. No, so I was in the middle of all that. I recorded like
But
Cellar Dwellers,
Sunset
all
Park, that was a dope soundtrack.
Yep.
That was
So all those records I recorded. I didn't mix, but I recorded those. And when I say recorded, that means Havoc comes in with the record. We get the MPCs making the beat, taking 500 hours to make the beat. MPCs making the beat, taking 500 hours to make the beat. And who's he asking how it sounds first? Me. I'm the one in there, and like you saying, with the engineer. Like, yo, what's up with my kick? Why my kick sound like this? So I'm hearing all of these beats first. So with Quiet Storm, he comes in, he tells me he's gonna make the record. Like, I'm gonna bring the White Lines record, the Grandmaster Flash record. We're gonna make a beat out of it. I bet. Comes in, got the record, starts looping it up, starts making what will become Quiet Storm, right? Keyboard, all that. Now, the funny thing about this is at the time they're 2 gold records back to back.
Right.
So they're having the time of their life. So that he makes that beat and they start partying. Like, and they're not even that beat was supposed to be for Big Noid.
Okay.
We were literally working on a Big Noid. Alchemist was trying to get Big Noid. They were trying to get him a deal in Tommy Boy or something
Before
like that.
Only the Strong was
Oh
his
my
intro,
God!
right?
And Noid's my man. Like that was a dude I hung out with a lot in that era.
I love Big Noid.
Yeah, man, that's my guy.
Christopher Run.
Yeah. So so they start partying and they disappear. The beat isn't even. It's not saved. It's not on the tape. It's literally just on the MPC. Quiet Storm beat. So I look at it, beat the whole crew was like, yo, this is crazy. We're gonna go to the store and get beer. We'll be right back. Come back, beat gone. and he was the king of his man kicking the plug out of the beat machine. Like that happened like a bunch of times with classic beats.
After the first time.
Getting the beats, going and record Prodigy. And he was a one taker. So
shit.
it was like you'd wait 4 hours for a minute of perfection.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And it was like, if you had those extra people was laughing because they're like, yo, my God, you were the first to hear him say, today that's the version they love.
Yeah, well, that's the one you hear first.
It's super raw.
It's the one you hear first.
So
Street Life was another song on that album that had
we're going to lose like a legendary Mobb Deep project, which turned into music. They didn't know it was murder music at the time, of course, but
that's what it ended up being.
It moved to another studio. So then they called me like a couple months into finishing it. Yo, you remember it? And I'm like, right. Oh, y'all call it Quiet Storm now? Okay. So look, what we're going to do, and there's the other engineers doing the whole album. I said, yo, look.
So, but why'd they bring you in for that one song?
Because he mixed it and they kept playing him that reference mix that we just spoke
And he
of.
couldn't- he
And
couldn't-
they were like, no. Like, what the fuck?
He couldn't get the
Like, they couldn't believe it either. Like,
feel of it. Yeah.
like Knucklehead Nasty, we got to go get him? Like, yeah. So they call me, I come in, boom. So I hear it, and I'm like, all right. Now, I know they're already mixing the album, so they already kind of have the sound as far as all the analog gear.
Yeah.
It's already kind of tuned in because they're already mixing the whole album. They're playing me songs from the album. I'm like, oh, my God, it's a G-Rap joint, all this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, because at the same time, I'm in the game, but I love this shit.
Yeah,
so it's like
fans of this
to
shit.
hear a new whatever, I'm like, oh, you know. So, they bring the record up. I'm like, they call it Quiet Storm now. All right, check this out. We're gonna turn his voice into like a telephone voice. And I'm talking about Mob is out doing Mobb Deep shit. Like they're not even there. So I do all that. The management is like, wow. And they're like, what are you working on? I just hit play. And that comes on. Now, mind you, it never started like that ever in history before I did that. It started with the drums and him talking. Like the original version is him talking over the drums and then the bass line comes in, which is me on the mix too. It's unbelievable. Like we used to, say, like the snare is like a gunshot. Like it's so loud. But you get to really hear how this record is going to sound in the club, in the stadium, whatever. We didn't even get past like 8 bars, bring it back. They're all going crazy.
Great place to be, like that doom, doom, like that, and that tick, 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 tick. When you learn that that's a stovetop.
Yeah, right.
Like,
You're like, oh, painting,
shit. Yeah,
talking about painting a picture.
It goes completely different direction where you're like, I get it now. Like,
yeah. And the funny thing is skits and that kind of shit. I'm so big, so fat. Like, so. But him describing packing the back of the act, I'm like, we're going to what? So when you hear that, packing the, it was a hassle. Like
Yeah.
we spent with Pun, we did skits. We did like 5 skits. It took us a whole day, like 24 hours
Yeah.
in the studio. And I'm talking about I never seen that much food. Fact, bro.
Really?
Yeah. Pun,
Because he went from being like
Brawling.
jacked, right?
Yeah, yep.
But by the time you saw him, he was fat.
he's huge.
Yeah, just
One of the the biggest human being I've ever
was
seen.
he a nice guy?
I wouldn't say he was a nice guy. I wouldn't say he was a bad guy though.
Okay,
You know what I'm saying? Like he
just serious.
Yeah, he was a Bronx cat that like we had fun. Put it like that. You know what I mean? And I helped him out in a pinch. Like it was Pun, if you don't plan these skits in tomorrow, they're not making the album. It was one of those.
So that, but it was done all in one day then.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. We literally did, I think it's probably like 6 or 7 skits. I think we did 6 of them in
And
that
he
one
just
session.
he's just coming up with these on the fly.
He had them. No, he
No,
had them all.
planned out. Oh,
He had them all.
okay.
All that jumping on the. He has the one skit where he's having sex with 2 girls.
I was gonna ask about this. How weird is?
I'm like, yeah, I'll record it. He's like, I'll destroy the whole band. I'll destroy. And you gotta say, Pun's like, got the weirdest voice when he's not rapping because he's so big.
Yeah.
Like, rah, rah. He's like, rah, I'll break that fucking band. Like, rah, rah. I'm like, he's like Jabba the Hutt for real.
Man, now I'm gonna go try to find old video footage of Pun.
Yo, when he talk, it's not like his rap voice.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like his rap voice is like,
Yeah.
But yeah, so he was like fun. We had fun doing it. But like 1 minute they were all high-fiving me for helping them, and then a week later, whatever, who are you again?
Oh, really?
Kinda,
'Cause
yeah.
everybody's just doing so many.
Yeah.
getting so high.
Yeah.
During these sessions.
Yeah, definitely that. You know, like, and Pun had that narcolepsy, so you could be in
I
the,
didn't know he had that.
so you could be at like the board talking to him about what we're working on. Like, yo, how's the vocal sound to you? And he'd be talking to you back. Like, oh, I think you should raise it up. But sometimes I'd be like, yeah, how's that sound?
Nothing.
Look
Yeah.
back, he's asleep. And then he would wake up out of it answering your question. Like, no, I think it's still too low.
What?
Yeah, it was wild, bro. Pun was he was a 1 for real. He was a 1. And there's a funny story that I tell. So we had to do this thing with my man Domingo, and Pun has no shirt on, and he's sitting on the couch. He's like this. He's got the biggest fucking hands you ever seen. This motherfucker had like a boulder for a muscle of his shoulder, like this. He's a big hairball. He's like the size of this whole couch. He's like, Nastee, why the fuck am I here? Now, I don't know what he's talking about, so I go, Shadow was a different beat. Actually came out. The beat they didn't use came out afterwards, but like I have a bunch of recordings of their songs. I used to have engineers that were like not of the culture that used to talk to me and be like, oh, you work with Pun? Oh my God, he had a gun. And then I heard stories about he had a fake gun, and he'd say to his man like, yo, I heard you nice with shooting. Yeah, I'm nice with shooting. Yeah, here's a yo, shoot this cherry off my head. Like, and then like the fake gun.
Yeah.
And then the cherry move his head so the cherry fall off. It was fucking lying. Like, ah.
And they run with the fucking Terror Squad.
Right.
Yeah, and they used to tell me, we're not rappers.
Well,
And I was like, damn. And they were like laughing about it. Like this huge fight at the tunnel. And I'm like, bro, that sounds crazy. They're like, we're going to make a skit. Pun's like, we're making a skit out of that.
so
That's how that happened.
we
all these Germans. That's what he said.
one
All
of the
these
things
Germans.
that we did was me and Stella do. We had this clothing line thing we were gonna do, and it.
Producer on that album.
So of everything you've done, what's like, as that little kid who's watching Wild Style, who's fucking like, this is what I'm gonna do. Star Wars, this is what I'm gonna do. What's like your proudest, most, not even like money and none of like, what's like the fucking most, like you're like, oh, I did that.
I don't know. I would say like
Quiet Storm?
I would say like I kind of have to be like weird about it and say like it's all that, like everything, because every couple of days working with Dead Prez.
You worked with 50 Cent before How to Rob came out,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes.
So you were in the studio. He was in the studio with you.
Yep. He so it's funny with 50, right? Work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what he used to have to end up saying. So I come in and 50's in the chair. And Flush is there waiting to work. And I walk in and there's no 50 nothing. No one knows nothing
He's
about
still
this.
that boo-boo
He's
shit.
still boo-boo.
Yeah.
So Flush goes, what's up, man? This is my, like this close to my face, like, word? And I'm like, and looks at Flush and goes, just like Dirty. He goes, I like this guy. I like this guy. I'm like, thank you. And I go to sit in the seat. So he's like, yo, I'll see you later. He leaves. I say to Flush, do he? Yeah, like I recorded Corner Bodega, a bunch of stuff that was on Power of a Dollar and a couple of joints that was on, ended up on Guess Who's Back.
Well, In Too Deep wasn't like he had a couple things on the In Too Deep soundtrack.
Yeah, that was the How to Rob.
Yeah, How to Rob.
So I'm literally meeting him. He just had recorded that.
And the song Bout It too. That was on the In Too Deep soundtrack, I believe.
Yeah, that could be.
I believe
that could be. Yeah,
it was early. That was early.
Yeah. That's when, and that's what I always tell people. Like that's when before he got shot, his voice was way smoother. Like I used to tell him like, yo, you're like a gangster Mace. And he'd be like, what? And I'd be like, come on, man, Mace is nice. He's just goofy, like, because he's nice on, you listen to Mace rap. He's fucking nice. So I used to tell him that. And so this is how I used to go. They'd bring his beats in. They'd already be on a tape, a 2-inch tape. They'd tell 50, here's your beats for today. Now, sometimes they'd play those beats, and he'd be like, that's whack. I'm not rapping to that. And they'd be like, these are your beats. And we'd be in there cooking. This dude was a machine. We'd cook 3 records a day. And we'd laugh, right? Because we'd be at the end, like, mixing it down a little something. And he'd be like, yo, man, that's pretty good, right? I wasn't even inspired to make that shit. Like, I wasn't even feeling that shit. And I made a fucking banger. I was like, and I kept telling him, like, you need to hear my beats. You need to hear my beats. So on the third, like, I think it was the third session, he walked in and I was like, sit down. And he was like, this dude, what? I'm like, inspired by that. Like, word, okay.
And you could tell he was going to be a star.
I knew it. I knew it from meeting him with Flush. That is when they come in. Like, one time Biggie came to my crib when I lived up on Lincoln, and it was him and Busta and Method Man walking in my hallway to my crib.
Didn't make it.
That would happen a lot, actually. But, like, I'd have
probably
had it.
Yeah, you might
Probably
have what it
Not
takes.
gonna be-
He was
Is
in
that the
driver's
grimy?
seat too. Busta Rhymes was in driver's seat on the CNN album.
Yeah.
And then
Yep.
he was on the what track was he on the solo album? The first one.
Yeah.
And then
Yep.
he was on the
Yep.
what track was he on the solo album? The first one.
It was called The Assignment. Like, let's just hang out until this guy gets here. The Assignment. Like, let's just hang out until this guy gets here. So him and a couple of records on. I swear we're there 7 hours waiting for him. 7 hours probably. But that's how much Nori was willing to wait.
And what's recording Busta Rhymes like? Because
He's I used to be the dude. I used to be the dude that would tell them.
You have everything ready to go.
I used to be the dude telling them like, what I would tell them.
You have everything ready to go.
I used to be the dude telling them like, why y'all don't rate income? Why y'all don't rate income? Like you spend so much money. Like you spend so much money writing rhymes that he wrote because he wouldn't even keep the notebook.
Yeah, that's sad.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
he would just, I wrote that for that and I laid it down. Like I would, give me a pen, man. Give me a pen. Let me get this right now. I'm gonna write this right now. Like, and what's dope
what y'all
is
waiting for?
because Nori waited, the energy when you go listen to the record.
I knew
Okay.
that.
Twism.
Yeah.
Like I got my check to record and mix that shit. I got that check from Twism
Okay.
at the time.
So they come in knowing they know.
He actually, you could tell they had already formulated that song.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like they already had the beat. I mean, it's just a loop, but they already had the beat. That dude Nastee over the
And you're getting more business after that.
Yeah. No, I mixed a lot of songs that like for like Rockefeller and stuff, but it never came out. Like groups they signed.
Did you ever have Jay-Z in the studio?
I didn't, but he was at the cutting room a couple times, but I didn't.
You had Mos Def in the studio.
Yeah, a lot.
A lot,
Early,
okay.
early Mos before his album. He was like
Lyricist Lounge Most.
yeah, early Mos, De La Soul Mos.
What was his MO?
Weird, but really dope and really talented.
When you say
Different.
weird,
He
yeah.
plays a bunch of instruments too.
Yep. I was just telling him a funny story. I was recording the Cellar Dwellers, and they were getting a beat.
Perfect match.
And they were getting a beat. They were getting a
Against the
beat.
boardwalk.
They were getting a beat from Large Professor, right? And so Large is playing them this beat, and they picked kind of a weird beat. At least be like, do, some notes. This dude was like, beat, bam, 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 bam. Bird. Bam, 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 bam. Like, and like, I look over Soul Doors, they're looking like, what is he doing to our fucking beat? So we all like, it was like a movie moment. We all go look at Large, right? And Large Pro is back there like, yeah, Mos, I feel where you're coming from. We're talking about hour of beat, bam, 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 boom, 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 boom. Beat is playing. It's not just like he's trying it out. Like, you're just like, all right, we're just gonna have to hear him noodle. No, the beat's playing, loud as shit. Doop, doop, doop. Motherfuckers left, large left, and so Dawes was like, what's wrong with him? And he's like, yo, what if we send it like that and we put a note with it that says, pardon this guy, he has mental problems.
Andre tried it too, and he gave us like 5 albums of good shit, and they still don't let Andre do it either. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
what the fuck? Like, you want to go where? Like, I'm gonna go be a rapper. I think I'm gonna end up in Vermont. They're like, bro, you just mixed like 3 platinum records. Like,
yeah. So how do you end up in? How do you guys?
So what happened was there's these things called mushrooms.
Yeah.
Right? I think you heard of them.
Yeah.
So Boston's rep, like, I would play his demos for people, and they'd be like, "Oh, this kid's pretty dope. Where you from?" And I'd be like, "Boston." And they'd be like, "Oh, all right, I'll holla."
Yeah.
It was like that. Like, Boston didn't have this rep of being like a hip hop place. It had a rep of being a gangster place. Like, every rapper I would meet, when they were like, "Oh, you're from Boston? They don't play out there, man. We talk our chains and that motherfucker." Like, it was known for that.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So he's there the whole time. I'm playing his demos for plenty of people that you would respect. And they're like, "Oh, this is dope."
Now, are you, when he's doing the engineer part and like all like the crews and the hanger-ons are there, you're there as well. Are there people in those crews that end up being people that you're sitting there just like eating fucking chicken wings with this motherfucker, and next thing you know, he turns into like, "Oh shit, that's Spliff Star. Oh shit, that's..."
Well, a few. There, I walk in the lounge, watching the game. I'm a sports guy. This guy comes in, he sits down. I'm locked in. The dude goes, "Yo, these girls could kind of ball, huh?" Oh shit, that's Grand Pooba. I just watched the first WNBA game with Grand Pooba. Like, oh shit, now this is Grand Pooba. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
he's one of those guys.
Yep. It's like 2000 and shit already out.
No, this is 96.
Oh,
this is
okay,
97.
all right.
So he might
whenever the 96 WNBA was 96, right?
Slow down and shit.
Probably
after all that. This was his first joint already came, and they was coming back. His brand, like the 2 brand Nubian joints dropped, and now they coming back.
But he's Grand Pooba.
He's Grand Pooba all day.
Yep.
It's Grand Pooba all day.
And that was, incidentally, that's a song for the Money Talk soundtrack. Is what the session was.
Okay.
That's my first mix.
Money Talks was the one with Damon Wayans and Marlon Wayans, right?
No, what Money Talks was Charlie Sheen and this guy, Chris Tucker.
Oh yeah, yep.
That was my first
Memory Lane. I'm like, oh my God, like damn.
Yeah.
Just in my mind.
Yeah.
He goes to Craig. I remember how we were sitting. I was sitting here. You were sitting right there. The tape was there. You were sitting here. Craig was sitting here. I was sitting here. And you look at him and you go, "Yo, why you ain't say nothing, man? Like, you on a fucking classic." And he looked at him and goes, "I didn't know I was on there." At that moment, I was like, fuck the music industry. Like,
right.
I just love hip hop.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to be in that right there was just so dirty to me. Like, and so just raunchy. Just as a moment. Like, you have no idea that you're on this classic motherfucking album. People talk about Illmatic to this day. And this is back when, remember, you couldn't use a motherfucker's voice. They was coming.
Right,
You know what I mean?
You.
Didn't matter. Yo, that's my right there. Like, I want my money. Yeah. This guy has no idea he's about to be on one of the greatest albums ever. No fucking idea. Like, who does that? You know what I mean? Yeah. Those two.
So my reflection wasn't a kid's reflection.
Yeah.
So when I started writing shit down, I'd show it to him. I show it to my other friends like, "Yo, if this was rhymes, if this was bars, would this be crazy?" And they were like, "Bro, if you could make that rhyme and be a flow, like, you a deep thinker. So yeah, that would be crazy." And that's what I did. And that the minute I made a song and played it for someone that could have told me it was trash and I would have accepted it, told me it was amazing, Bobby Condas.
Yeah.
He was like, "Yo, I didn't know you had that in you." And I was like, "Me either." I was so like, I don't know if it sounds good to me, but I don't know if it's good. So I have to play it for people that will keep it real with me. Him and a couple other people. And they were all like, so, and people were really, they weren't gassing me. They were like, yo, man, you're really onto something different. Like what your approach to it. You know what I mean?
When we talk about flow, we're talking about an 8x11 piece of.
Remember like the first couple of bars, and it was all right. It was like, what did I say? Oh, I said, the contents of my table show that I'm able to make a label.
After you took mushrooms and moved to Vermont.
Yep. So what happened was I came back to Boston.
That's like so stereotypical though. It's like,
Right? Such a
You want to be
so predictable. Like, I'm coming down here tomorrow. I'm all the way up top though. We just did a show in fucking Plattsburgh. So he was going up to Vermont fucking with them. Like he could tell the more intricate version of the story. So, and I used to crack on. They were like, "Yo, you did that?" Like, "Yeah, that's my record." Like, "Oh, you did the beat?" Like, not just the engineering, but because this whole time I'm the ill producer. It's just that engineering was paying the damn bills. Mm-hmm. So once I became an MC, though, I couldn't sit in a bad session anymore. I could do that for money. So then I went up there and I created what I have right here, which is VT Union.
yeah, so I'm trying to see like how. Oh, yeah, so that's different. Okay, I'm looking.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not seeing you like rapping on here a lot. Though.
Yeah, no. That's something we just dropped last summer. Last summer, that's the Afterlife compilation.
You are on one track on this.
Yep. And
you're rapping on this.
Yep.
Okay.
And that was the first track that I had made after not rapping for a long ass time.
Are you guys like a group?
We were.
And
we've been thinking about like, should we do that again?
What was the
I
name
just
of
don't,
our
I
group?
don't understand why you're not.
Yeah, what was the
Yeah,
We had a-
you
Do you
guys
remember?
like seem like you're two peas in a pod, just
It's
fucking
cool.
rocking
Wait,
through the-
it's ridiculous. It's two.
The name of the group was Static.
Yeah.
That was the name of our group.
Yeah.
So we were in Vermont as Static.
Yeah.
And we were getting gigs and we were starting to go. And then I made this VT Union crew. He had got locked up, so I had made this VT Union crew for when he came home. It was like, when you come home, there'll be a built-in fan base for you. Then I was at the time working on a hip-hop cartoon, so I moved from Vermont. This is like 2010. I moved from Vermont. This is a reissue of songs we put out then. But VT Union was getting like Sean Price is on there, R.A. the Rugged Man's on there, because they would come to Burlington to do shows.
Scoop 'em.
And we just, I got $1,000. You want to go to the studio? Yeah. Where's the studio? 10 minutes away. So we got, I still have a Raekwon verse from that era that I never released. I got a Sean Price verse that I never released. I get ready to release these joints now. Because what it is I never liked the industry, love doing cool shit, love being in the moments that I look back and I'm like, wow, that was pretty fucking classic shit. But I needed to do it for myself and for like what we do. So I went to Vermont to do that. I hit a ceiling up there in 2010. I was working on this hip-hop cartoon about my life. It was a reality cartoon of going up to Vermont from the industry. That was the cartoon. And got all the way to VH1 with it. And it's so funny because this is how you know things are meant to be. The week they pulled the plug on it, and I'm like depressed, like I just spent 2 years of my life working on this cartoon. My man Static Selector called me and told me to get over to his house. We're going to mix Joey Badass's Before the Money album. And I had told him 6 or 7 months before that at the time I wasn't even engineering anymore. I told him I'll come out of retirement for those Pro Era guys because those guys are fucking dope. Like I would hear their shit and be like, yo, it sounds like a bunch of dudes in a room that want to smoke weed and rhyme. Like, where are these guys at? You know what I mean? And through that, I got cool with Joey and all that. And they were like cracking on me off the like, what the fuck are you doing in Vermont though? Like, I don't get it. Are you from Vermont? Like, why would you go to Vermont? The reason why and why I went back, we do whatever we want up there. And not in the sense of chaos, in the sense of starting a business that's, we're creating our own music industry up there. There's no, they could.
Who was up there first?
He was.
You were up there first.
Yep.
And then you move up there afterwards.
Yep.
And now you've been up there like just since. Like it just that's your home base. That's where you.
Well, so then because what happened was I went back to New York. I did all that shit with Joey. It was like 5, 6, 7, 8 years of just back in New York, and then the pandemic hit,
You were like,
and I was like, New York sucks. This is horrible. I was in the. So it's basically a compilation that I produced. We gave a couple artists that we fuck with shots on it, and then I got like acrobatics on there, terminology on there.
There's a term.
Yup, and these are all pretty much people I would say like one of the founders of VT Union in Vermont was a guy named DJ A Dog, who was like Funkmaster Flex to Vermont. You know what I mean? Like wherever this guy goes, these people showing up for his DJ skills. So he was my partner in everything we were doing up there, and he passed away in 2013. Brought me to like, you know what? Let's not do it out of New York. Let's do it out of Burlington, this Afterlife thing. We literally thought of it in the quarantine. Like once he was ready to try, like, yo, I'm coming. Fuck all that other that weirdo. We'll add on. No one's gonna do nothing new. We have everything. Same with like soul music. Same with reggae. We're not gonna get anything new. We can get some add on. That's what we look to do. I ain't reinventing the wheel. You know what I'm saying? But these beats are crazy. And MCs really get open off of them. So I'm looking at it like, all right.
What can we expect from you? Where are people going to be able to find your music? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how are they going to find you guys?
Yeah.
They've been sitting there watching you guys for 2 hours now.
Platforms. Everything else will be on our own shit. They got to really love it, or it's got to be the crime. I'm saying? Like, that's where we fucked up. My generation, for sure.
You're the second person that's been here in the last week. The person that's been here in the last week that's talked about that as well.
We left the kids behind.
Talked about that as well.
We left the kids behind because we were so poor that when we got it, left them kids behind because we were so poor that when we got it, left them kids. And the beauty of it is that we're at a point right now where we're going to be able to correct that error, because I'm meeting more 15-year-olds that are like getting it and saying to me like, I want to take them words and bend them and throw them around and flow them in different ways. And they're starting to, like, in other words, my son who's like 25, his kid
is on it.
Is going to be on it, right?
The Beatles or whatever, yeah.
Yeah.
And then
right.
The Beatles or whatever, yeah.
Yeah.
And then this Terminology album.
Yeah, so me and Term, longtime homies. When Watch How It Goes Down was blowing up, we brought him up to Vermont for his first show in Vermont. And that's how I met Static and all them, and we got cool. Never really worked on music together, just did shows and did stuff like that. Then during the pandemic, I was at his studio, and he was like, play me some shit, man. He was like, what are we working on? And I was like, I don't know, let's make beats. And he was like, all right, play some shit. And then the first beat came on, and he was like, wait a minute. Let me write something down real quick. And that turned into what ended up being on a different project, actually. It's kind of funny when I think about it. Ended up being on that project. The Term Acro song was the first song we recorded for, because we didn't know what we were doing. We didn't know we were making Time is Currency. So 6 or 7 songs later, Term was like, yo, this is going to be my 50th project, so I really want it to be special, and I'm going to try and get like this producer, that producer. I was like, all right, dope. That's crazy. Then we were plugging shit in, and it kind of wasn't meshing, because like, not to say that I have my own style, so it can mesh with others, but once Term was kind of like trying to plug it in, he was like, I think you should just do this project with me, and just, let's just do that. And I was like, yeah, okay. We started getting featured. Like, it just, once we made our like mind up of like how we were doing it, he was like, it's no rush. It's my 50th project. So he's like, I got 2 more before I get to 50. So I can work on other shit while you, and we worked our ass off and got #1 on iTunes with it. And when I saw the fucking post came up the other day, and we had beat out like J. Cole and A Boogie with the Hoodie, like all the top people had put.
Look right there, man.
All right, yo, this is your boy Nastee Loves You. Afterlife Music is the gang. And you can find it all at afterlifemusic.com. And Afterlife is AFTEO. It's so played out to me, like, you know.
Yeah, it's part of the game what we're doing here. So it's the thing. We're trying to change it a little bit too, but you know.
I love what you guys are doing. Man.
Nah, it's all good. It's just, you know,
it's part of it.
It's part of it, man. It's like we're trying to be the megaphone for like. There's a lot of people that don't know your guys' stories.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? They've heard of the
For
song.
sure. No, that's why I was excited to do it. Like, I kept telling them, like, no, we're going to figure this out, bro.
Because, like...
I want people to hear this shit.
It's like Drink Champs does it a certain way, and, like, All the Smoke for the basketball does it, but, like, there's something cool about, like, hearing the stories of all these things that we've grown up with. Yeah. And it being so accessible. It kind of hoping to bridge the gap with the young kid on here, too, like, trying to bridge the gap of that, trying to be like, yo, these are the stories of this shit, which is actually what y'all are sampling now to make the records you're using. Like, this is where it came from.
Yeah.
This is so-and-so's man who knows. You know what I'm saying? It all connects. So it's trying to, like, you know, hip-hop it right back together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Man, what do you want to tell these guys right there?
Like and subscribe.